everyone, I'm Alani, the chief girl here at the Good Girl community, and I'm so happy to have beside me, and not in another screen, Colin Anthony Morgan. He has become our resident relationship coach, and he's here because he has the receipts. He's been a relationship coach for 20 years and has had so much success in helping people navigate their dating life and also navigate marriage as well. And if you haven't been watching the previous videos, we have been exploring a concept called ribs. So we did R, which was realistic. We did I, which was for interesting. And today we are at B, R-I-B. Colin, welcome.
Well, thank you, Alani. Chief girl, hello to all the good girls out there. As she said, the concept is RIBS, and for this show, we're tackling the B, okay? The B, and if you haven't watched the R and I, just go back and watch it. As she said, realistic and interesting, and we're going to be talking about the B, which is the brain. Think brain.
Think brain, not heart. This is the message that you have for us in this episode. Why is it important for women to get to the point of thinking brain and not heart?
Well, like we said, the concept is ribs. People DM me, message me, sit across the table from me, call me, and they're saying, how do I protect my heart? Whether they're married or in a relationship, how do I protect my heart? Or they're single looking, but they're a little nervous. They've been hurt a lot. How do I protect my heart? And your heart is protected by your ribs. So I use this acronym of RIBS just for you to remember. Be realistic, stay interesting, and B is think brain and not heart. Mostly this is to women who are trying to protect their heart. So now men and women actually speak different languages, okay? Men and women speak two different languages, and it is as blatant and obvious as that. And I'm telling you, we've been married for a while, and we're still learning each other, learning how to communicate, but we speak two different languages, brain and heart, right here. Brain and heart. What I'm saying to women is, you don't necessarily have to, it's great to become fluent in it, but you probably won't. I'm not fluent in heart. I do think this way. And what we're saying is that men, their primary language is brain. They think heart, but mostly it's brain. Women, heart. They think brain logically, right? But mostly they think heart first, and then they make decisions based on that. And men usually make decisions based on brain. So what I'm encouraging women to do is to begin learning the language. Even if you can't speak it, at least learn how to hear it. It's amazing when you visit another country and the first thing you want to be able to do is at least understand what they're saying. It's a whole other thing. You go 2, 3, 5, 7 times and you get used to the culture, you get used to the language. Maybe you can start speaking it, but start practicing to listen to it, to at least understand it. And that's the first step, Alani, to really understanding each other. And again, we're not saying that brain is better than heart or heart is better than brain. I'm just saying there's a divide. So a part of being realistic is understanding that this is a truth.
Yeah, I was going to talk to you about, is one better than the other? You kind of took that question right out of my mouth. But one of the reasons why I wanted to ask that question or pose that is because as a woman hearing this, I have been taught to value my emotions and how I feel. And it's important for others to understand that. Why is it so important for us to increase our man language, if I'm saying that correctly, but our ability to speak brain and position ourselves to be able to understand men more? Well,
if you want to live with one, eventually you're gonna have to understand him when he speaks, when he thinks, even before he speaks. One of the benefits for me, because ladies, men have to do it also. I had to learn to speak heart. I had to become more sensitive in certain areas and understand. I can preempt her words or her actions if I know, I can kind of predict how she's gonna feel and think, because I now know I might not be fluent in it. Am I yet?
You're getting a whole
I'm getting a lot. I'm there, but I definitely understand it, and I can speak it. And so you don't have to, guys. You don't have to become sensitive if you're listening. Women, you don't have to learn brain. You don't have to. But if you want, if you would like to be successful in a relationship with a man, then you're going to have to learn how to speak and communicate. You're going to have to learn to understand, and I dare say one day become fluent in it.
So walk me through the baby steps of understanding how to think brain and eventually communicate in such a way.
Yeah, this is great. You know, have you ever noticed, and if you ask any of your guy friends or your brothers or your father, ask anyone that you know, what feels more comfortable to a man, or who? It's the women who kind of get us. They understand us. We actually have a mutual friend. It's like a little sister to us, who she kind of grew up like a tomboy-ish, but she had brothers. She had two big brothers. She had brethren, friends, and she understands. And she kind of, in Jamaica, we would say she grounds, which means she just chill. She easy. She's easygoing. She understands how men think because she grew up with boys. She had a father. So male influences in her life. So it's like being around the Latin community and understanding how they speak. It's like I have friends who have been around me and my culture long enough that they can, if they can't say it, they might sound weird when they try to say, yo, what I want. They sound weird, but they understand when I say it. So it is familiarity, proximity, practice, and actually with an intent to learn it, to really understand the culture. Do you really want to get to know me? Are you really trying to understand and to communicate with me, to get to know my culture? And men can feel that. And again, if you're listening, men, women can feel it also. We want to be able to practice. It makes perfect. Get used to it, get accustomed to it, and be serious about it. Don't make fun of it. And don't try to be like, yeah, oh, you're gonna be logical now. Don't do that. If you're learning it, learn it. Don't be, don't try and make fun of it. Yeah, don't be facetious. Be real. If you're really trying to get to know how we speak and how we think, you want to have a successful relationship, marriage, then learn it.
So as we continue this conversation, I just want us to remember that this conversation is really geared towards women. So we're going to speak a lot to women and not necessarily qualify what men have to do, because of course,
it's a good girl community.
It's a good girl community, and we want you to hear as much as you can within the time that we have to have this conversation. So the next thing I want to address with you, Colin, about speaking brain is how do we manage to be balanced? Because there is that femininity that is what makes us who we are, so how do we get to the point of having enough male speak and understanding while maintaining our femininity and not feeling that we need to be one of the boys to then be appreciated by them?
Yeah, that's good. If you think about the fact, women, think about this. You're not really attracted to sensitive men, are you? You don't really want a man who go on like a woman. You're not attracted to that. Women are not necessarily attracted to guys who are that much in touch with their sensitive side. You want a man. Think about it. So I'm telling you, we men also, we want a woman who understands me, but don't try to talk like me exactly. You're not trying to be a full Jamaican, but you love my culture, and you're trying to get to know and understand me enough so that we can abide, dwell, have great chemistry, and that's what you want. Don't become me. Don't do it. But do it. But be enough, right? And there's it's a balance, because even men, right? We try to hide our sensitive side. Yeah. Jamaicans have a thing where we say, "Bad man don't cry," and I'll be in a movie watching a movie with Alani, like, and I'm like, no, I'm good, I'm fine. And we actually try to hide our sensitivity. And no, I don't feel in a way, and we try to act tough because we know macho is attractive to women. Women, macho is not attracted to men. Okay, not the men that you want, not the guy that you want. The ultimate, the ideal guy wants you to understand him, not try to become him.
And that's such an important distinction, and good for us to establish that your femininity is appreciated, it is loved, it is desired, but we as women, we also need to be able to understand the nature and the land of men in order to be able to relate. And
I'm sorry, you said language. You said one of the good things about being here is I can say, babe, you just made me think of something. You're right. It's not just a language. It's culture. I said that word a few times, but if you think about it as two different cultures trying to come together to be together, right? And that's what we want. All right. You know, I was talking to one of our spiritual daughters today, and we were discussing a relationship that she had. And I said, boy, you know, I heard about him. I heard what he's up to. And she was like, oh, yeah, man, we're still cool. We're cool. I said, what really happened? What was and she's from one country, he's from another, two different islands. And I was like, why didn't, I expected to hear something like, boy, he was this, or he wasn't that, or I had messed up, or, you know what she said? She said, it was a language barrier. It was we couldn't really understand each other. Sometimes when he spoke a little too fast. He's from one of the islands, and I'm chat this and I'm say this, and she's from another island. She speaks five languages, but she couldn't understand him sometimes. And I thought, this is crazy. With a little more patience. And she actually was kind of like, yeah, I couldn't, maybe I didn't have enough patience to ask him to slow down, and if they understood that that's what it was, that's literally what it was. But culturally, it can be a problem.
Yeah. So we're trying to understand the culture, and what's important is that our ability to understand that culture is what will inevitably save us from a lot of the heartache that we experience as women, and trying to get to know the person that we're interested in. So, Colin, can you give me an example, some kind of scenario where the woman understanding the culture of the man or the man's language that would have possibly saved her from some kind of terrible heartache?
From messing up or getting hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many different examples. You can look at just everyday conversations where the woman is saying, yeah, but share more. How was your meeting yesterday with so-and-so? It was good. We spoke about this. He came on, he asked me these questions, and then I answered them, and then that was it. Yeah, but how did it make you feel? Yeah, but what exactly did he say? Can you give me details? And then here comes the real problem. When a woman says, you don't like speaking, do you? You don't really like to share. And I need to share. I need you to talk. I need you to speak to me, talk to me, right? And you're talking about two people, one person here, one person here. There's heart, there's brain, and they're trying to meet somewhere. And women, you're always trying to pull men all the way over to that side, to be heart. And when he becomes heart, and if he was heart, you're not attracted to heart, you're attracted to brain. So don't try and get him to be heart. And so he might not give all the details, he might give bullet points. That's one example, like everyday communication. That might not be cause for breakup, but it just wears away at him. And it wears away at you also, because you're making it too, it's too black and white, where you just have to kind of understand, and you kind of have to be like, okay, yeah, sure, I get it, you know? And that happened with me and you today.
Yes, we're always learning, right? But another thing that I wanted to bring up with you, Colin, is what are some of the examples of maybe bad communication or misunderstandings that are common in relationships?
Well, what ends up happening is because of the misunderstandings, or he don't really understand what you're trying to say, it ends up being the root of other fruit. So some of the other things that can happen is people start to complain that you're not listening. Either way. She wants to share it a certain way. He wants her to sit down and listen to the logical side of it. And so they don't listen. He's not listening, or she's not listening. And then feelings begin to become invalidated. Just because he didn't really understand me, where if you really understood him, he was saying yes, but you heard no. Then people start to interrupt conversations. And women do that a lot, right? I kind of do it. I do it sometimes. And I mean, with both, when you're arguing or you have a nice...
You want to make a point.
Trying to make a point.
Yeah.
But sometimes it happens because emotionally, women will just, maybe... And I'm a man, so obviously I know this side of it. But you interrupt, right? Or some men might do this, but they offer unsolicited advice. You know what I think you need to do? When all she was trying to do is to share with you how she felt, because men speak about things and facts. Women speak about people and relationships and how it felt. Okay? Then there's distraction, there's aggressive language, all kind of fruit begin to happen because of this root where you just don't understand. Again, until you really start to speak the language or understand the language, at least understand that there's a difference.
Yeah.
And then you can just be patient with, okay, what did you mean?
Yes. And that's very important, being in a place where you don't make assumptions, but ask the questions. Ask the question, what did you mean?
And if you look for what we're talking about, you'll see it. Okay. So it's stuff like, you thinking he doesn't care because he doesn't share and talk about his feelings the way you do, and we're not as expressive, or it doesn't sound like we're as sensitive. This might end up affecting how we love or express our love. And then you might feel like, I don't really love you that much, So it affects us, and it can be very blatant. All right.
All right, Colin. So give us some tips to help us to understand how we can actually put this into practice.
Where can you learn this language of brain? First thing, like I said, hopefully, this is why it's really good to have big brother or a coach or male figures in your life. Proximity, familiarity does help, and it will teach you the heart of a man, or how a man thinks. Okay. And also don't pressure yourself. Number two, don't pressure yourself into feeling like, I suck and I will never learn because I'm just really so sensitive and I cry for everything. That's okay. We like that, right? But we just want you to understand us when we think and how we are. We still want your sensitivity. It is what we are attracted to. Okay. It's very important, 3, for you to not disregard your sensitivity, because your sensitivity and your heart is not wrong. It's not bad. Okay. But we want you to still feel. But before you make a move and a decision, think brain, especially if you're trying to interest him, like we said in the last video, you're trying to attract him or maintain him or keep him, right? A good wife catch, is someone who understands the language, but still can express her feelings without offending him or boring him. And also keep in mind that on the other side, he's sitting listening to hopefully someone like me telling him, you need to listen, you need to think heart. You need to start feeling with your heart and think, you think brain, but before you make any actions, sir, you need to check your heart, especially the heart of the woman that you're trying to be with. So they're hearing that. So don't be afraid of the fact that you still are sensitive, but find and ask questions. Find somebody, a brother in the church or co-worker, and, just find out, like, how do I, and at least just take notes. Because guess what happens? You might not know this, but women are more likely to file for a divorce or end a marriage than men. Whether you accept it or not, there's one fact that cannot be disputed, and that is that women initiate divorce more often than men on average. Numerous studies have shown that nearly 70% of divorces are initiated by women. And the first reason why women are more likely to end a marriage or to file for a divorce is because of sensitivity. So imagine you're feeling like, I cannot understand this language. He don't understand me, so it's a reason for divorce. No, both of you need to understand. You're still speaking Spanish and he's speaking French, and just find a way to understand each other, right? Yeah. That's important.
Yeah. What's that thing that was popular? Men are from
Mars.
Men are from Mars and women are from Venus.
Right. It's like
Yeah.
two different places. So where are we gonna meet?
Yeah.
You know, because we have to meet. Because I don't want nobody. I definitely don't want nobody from Mars. You want anybody from Venus? No. Mars. You said I want Venus.
Yes.
Venus is what I want. Right. Well, want it.
Well, I'm sure you understand what my question there is. Okay, so this is good, Colin. That last statement that you made about what leads to a lot of divorces. And at the end of the day, ladies watching, we want you to make this a part of your MO, your modus operandi when you are dating. And it's like this little tool, your trick up your sleeve that you should have, so that you're able to not only communicate with this man and understand this man, but more importantly, also save yourself from some of the heartache and unnecessary emotional damage if you take the time to understand the language of men, the culture of men. Think a little bit more brain, not 100% brain, but maybe a little bit more brain than you normally would, so that there is more harmonious communication. And the key word here is communication, right? That's such a foundational principle for relationships that have any kind of success, communication. So I just want to thank you so much for watching, Colin. Thank you for sharing this amazing concept that you have, ribs. We have one more to go, that's S, but that's coming up. So look out for that. But before I go, I want you to like this video. I want you to subscribe to our channel. I want you to share this video and hit that notification bell, so that whenever we do upload videos, you'll be notified and you'll be one of the first to know and the first to see. So thank you so much for watching. I am going to drop Colin's information in the notes so that you can reach out to him. So until next time, enjoy summer love. It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be too crazy if you are able to
protect your heart.
Yes, if you're
realistic,
able to
interesting brain. And the next video is S. What do you think that is?
Yeah. Say in the comments what you think S means.
What does S mean?
What does S mean? Okay. All right. Take care, everyone, and we'll see you soon.
Good job.